Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to speak about why Jews are obsessed, especially religious Jews, are obsessed with waking up early. When I was a young man, I didn't like waking up so much early. It's young, you want to sleep in. And as I got older, God punished me. He made me become a rabbi of a pulpit shul, pulpit synagogue. I can never miss the minyan. So for the last 40 years, I've been up on time. Can never sleep in. So the question is, why is it that religious Jews are so obsessed with waking up early, going to the minyan? And it's based on the section that we are reading. The very first Jew. You recall the question we asked, the big question was, what's so special about Abraham that he brought his son Isaac on the altar? He actually never sacrificed him. There were many other great Jews throughout the years that actually sacrificed their children. 1.5 million Jews perished children perished during the Holocaust. So all those parents gave up their children in actuality. Recently in Israel, many young people were killed, murdered, al Kiddush Hashem, sanctification of God's name. So why do we make a big spiel, big tzimis out of Avrohom? So last time we explained that it was because Avrohom was the first. He was the first to break the path for Jews to be ready to go on self-sacrifice. So because he was the first, that's why they make a big spiel out of him. But today I'm going to tell you another point, and I think this is a very important point, and that is something you can read yourself. Page 13, where it tells the story. So on line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, on the fifth line, it tells us the manner in which Abraham did his self-sacrifice, the way he was ready to give up his son Isaac for God. On the fifth line, on page 13, it tells us the secret. What's the secret? Vayashkem Avrohom baboker. And Abraham woke up early in the morning. My name is Abraham too, so I relate to that. Vayashkem Avrohom baboker. He woke up early in the morning. Now, you would think that Abraham was a faithful servant of God. He listened to everything God told him to do. So God told him to bring his son, as his one and only son that he waited for 100 years for. Finally, as a son, God tells him, I want you to take your one and only son and bring him on the altar. So you would think that, Abraham was so great, for sure he would do it. Okay, he does it. But you'd think he'd sleep in a little bit. Hope that it'll go away, right? You'd think he'd wake up late for that. And what does Avrohom do? Avrohom doesn't wake up late. It says Vayashkem Avrohom baboker. He wakes up early in the morning. So this is a very important part of the whole story. That Abraham, what was special about Abraham was that he didn't just do God's will. He did it with alacrity, with zealousness, with excitement, with enthusiasm. He woke up early in the morning. He couldn't sleep in. He was excited about doing God's wishes. One could say he woke up early because he was so nervous. Maybe that too. But he got up early, could have gone back to sleep, turned to the other side, right? He woke up, this is something special. And he woke up early in the morning to fulfill God's will. And that we are taught, we learn from Abraham. And that's why Abraham is the famous guy here. Because he didn't just do something. So it's very hard to bring your son onto the altar. A very difficult thing to do for God. He didn't just do it. He did it. He woke up early in the morning. Lots of us have hard times waking up in the morning. I know in the morning I wake up and then go to shul. Oi, oi. It's a schwer zu sein a Yid. It's hard to be a Jew. You have to wake up in the morning and go to shul. It's hard. It's not easy. Right? But if you knew you were making $1 million, $1 billion, that you wake up, everybody would wake up, right? I tell you, wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. I have in shul. There's $1 million waiting for you. Who wouldn't run to shul? So how do we have this alacrity? It's by having a mind shift, by viewing things differently. That makes us excited about things, and then we wake up early in the morning. One of the places that the Talmud speaks about it is about bris milas and Psachim Davdalet, page 4, tractate Psachim. It speaks about when should one do a bris, circumcision, and it says they should do it right in the morning, early in the morning. As it says, Abraham woke up early in the morning to do God's will. So we have a mitzvah that day, like a bris. You're supposed to do a bris. You wake up early in the morning. Many people don't know it. They don't know that a bris you're supposed to do early in the morning, but that's the halacha. The halacha is that the bris should preferably be done first thing in the morning. That's why most bris, you'll see, are early in the morning, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. You have the bris. Once in a while, you have it a little bit later if the circumstance, the moil can't arrive. There might be different circumstances. In fact, there's actually a response from the Lubavitcher Rebbe on halacha. There are not too many responses about halacha. The Rebbe wrote a lot of letters, but not many things that he actually chime in with some opinion on halacha. He usually sent people to rabbis, rabbanim. But in this matter, the Rebbe once gave his opinion, which is quite an important opinion, and he was asked a question. Someone wanted to know whether they should do the bris early in the morning, where there'll be only maybe a minyan, or they can do it later in the day when there'll be 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever. A lot of people will attend later on. So the Rebbe goes through a whole halachic deliberation as to what is greater, which principle, because there's two important principles over here. One principle here is the principle of Abraham, the wake up early principle. When you have something to do that day, a mitzvah, you do it first thing in the morning. You don't wait for later. You don't postpone it. But there is another principle in halacha, and that is that b'roiv am hadras melech, that there is a concept of having a more festive event. And when you have more people, the festivity is greater. Right? So the question is, what's more important, the alacrity or the festivity? The doing the mitzvah early in the morning, or perhaps doing it a little later, and then you have a bigger Kiddush Hashem, a greater sanctification of God's name. More people are coming. It's more festive, and it's a greater kavod for Hashem that the bris is being done with in front of a great community, in front of many people. And that's called in Hebrew the principle of B'roiv Am Hadras Melech. That many people is a honor for the king. So what's more important, the alacrity or the honor? And the Rebbe goes into a long deliberation on that, and the Rebbe actually says at the end that yes, if you know that you're going to have a much greater crowd in the afternoon, he says that it's better to do it in the afternoon. There are others, I believe, that disagree with the Rebbe's opinion, but there's different opinions always on different things. But that was the Rebbe's opinion that the honor of Hashem is greater than the zealousness or the alacrity of waking up early in the morning, doing the mitzvah first. This is just a little bit of a sidebar. I took you a little bit on a tangent, but the main point here is that Abraham was known for the generations he was famous. And we read this section every morning, the section about Abraham's bringing his son onto the altar and his dedication to God, because it also mentions the alacrity of Abraham and how Abraham woke up early in the morning. And that's why he was unique, in that he didn't just do the mitzvah, but he felt that it was so. So the key, as we said before, the key to waking up early, which is hard sometimes for people, to wake up early and go to shul early, is when you know that the mitzvah of going to pray is special. It's worth a lot. It's like $1 million, like I said, like $1 million at the shul. And we find this sort of direction, how we view all the responsibilities we have in life, which are tough sometimes. Responsibilities are hard. But the way to create a mind shift in those responsibilities, especially as a Jew, is by understanding the value. So, for instance, let's talk about children for a moment, right? A lot of people say they don't have children. It's hard. It's a pain in the neck, taking care of the kids. But if you view your children as diamonds, as precious, then you're gonna do everything in your power to have more children. Because if every child is like worth $1 billion, so you become a billionaire. So even though it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of hard work, but when you look at it as like Abraham did, that the mitzvahs and the responsibility we have in life are worth so much. You know, one time I had my children in the car, and they were all in the back row, and one of my kids, my Bensi, then asked me, all the kids were in the carpool, and he asked me, I don't know where this came to his head, it's asked me, Daddy, how much are you worth? He was a little kid, maybe 7 years old or something. Must have been talking with his friends. How much are you worth? I said, Bensi, I'm a millionaire. He says, yeah, wow. He gets all excited. A millionaire. I said, yeah, I have millions. He says, where do you have the millions? I said, well, you're a million, your sister's a million, your other sister's a million, your other sister. So I have that time, I had maybe 4 kids then. So I have 4 million. So I'm a millionaire. So he kept quiet for a while. And then he asked me again from the back. He woke up. He said, Tati, he said, what happens if you subtract us? How much do you have left? He's trying to like beat my logic. If you subtract us, what do you? I said, my dear, if I subtract you, I have nothing left. That's all I have is you guys. That's my millions. Anyways, but the point is that when you view children as millions, the Lubavitcher Rebbe once was standing all day long. The Rebbe used to stand on a Sunday morning. He used to meet with the Jewish people. And, years ago, he used to have private audiences, but then when he got older, he stopped having the private audiences, but instead, because there were so many people coming, he decided he'll give everyone an opportunity to meet him. So people used to line up on Sunday mornings on the street, on the avenue, it would go all the way down Eastern Parkway, the line, and they would come up, they wait a few hours, and everyone came up to the Rebbe, and what did the Rebbe do? When you came up, he gave you a little blessing, and he gave you also $1 for tzedakah, to give tzedakah. Because he said that if you have a brief moment with someone else, what do? You try to do a mitzvah together. So the smallest mitzvah you possibly could do is he used to give everyone $1, and he'd say, give that to tzedakah. So it was an act of charity. So when 2 people come together, the Rebbe said, you always have to think about a third person. And he was able to bring that into a split second, right? So he'd come up to him, he'd wish you bracha v'atzlacha, whatever he bless you, a quick blessing, and he'd give you $1. So there was a lady, the older lady. The Rebbe was then maybe around 90 years old, close to 90 years old. An older lady came up to the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. She asks him, and when she came up for that split second, she says, Rabbi, she says, I'm an old lady, and I'm standing online for an hour. How do you do it? How do you stand the whole day on your feet at this age? The Rebbe said, if you If you view every person that comes up is like a diamond, a precious diamond. And so wouldn't you stand on your feet the whole day and count your diamonds? He says, I count my diamonds. The Jewish people are my diamonds. So I count every one of you. So you don't get tired when you count diamonds. One time there was another fellow. Like I said, this is the point. The point is that Avrohom Avinu woke up in the morning because he was going to count diamonds, because he was going to do mitzvahs. And when you can chaparine and get all these millions, you wake up early in the morning. So there was once a fellow, his name was Rabbi Nosson Vogel. He was a rabbi in London. A place in London called Golders Green. And right next to it is another place, right off Golders Green, a place called Hempstead Garden Suburbs. When I was a Bach in yeshiva, I went for a year and I studied there, the yeshiva, the Chabad yeshiva there. So when I was there at the yeshiva, I must have been there like when I was 21, 22 years old. I studied the yeshiva in London. And I heard about this, there was a fellow who started off the yeshiva many years earlier. Started off, actually, it was a high school, then it turned to the yeshiva Gedolah when I came. But the fellow's, his name was Nathan Vogel, Nosson Vogel. And for whatever reason, people used to call him Bobby Vogel. Bobby. I remember. He used to call him, he lived Bobby Vogel. He lived on Princess Avenue or something. And he was a very wealthy man. And he was a big supporter of the school. So one time, Bobby Vogel came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And he said to the Rebbe, he has so many charities. And business this year has not been so good. So he's asking the Rebbe if he can sort of lower his charity. And he was suggesting to stop supporting the school so much. He'll do some of the other charities, but this charity of giving to the school was just draining him. And the Rebbe asked him, the Rebbe says, well, what's your business? The Rebbe says, Rebbe, I'm a diamond merchant. So the Rebbe asks him, let's say you're walking down the street, you're carrying a very heavy, big bag filled with diamonds. He says, yeah. The Rebbe says, let's say somebody else comes over to you and says, here, take this one diamond, another big diamond. You can keep it, but put it into that bag, the heavy load that you're carrying of diamonds, and add this other diamond in your bag, and you can keep it. What would you tell him? Would you tell the fellow, I can't carry, I'm schwitzing, it's so heavy, the bag, that I can't take another diamond? Of course, you would say, I'll take the diamond. So the Rebbe said to him, what you have now is diamonds. The schools that you're supporting, these are the diamonds, the children, the students. So what you're not gonna take the extra diamond, a little bit extra heaviness? And he understood the Rebbe's message there. The Rebbe's message was that if you view our responsibilities in life, our Jewish responsibilities specifically, if you view it as millions, as diamonds, as something great, you don't get tired. You can get up early in the morning without a problem. There were two guys going up the hill. This is a similar story, but it's also the same style. There are two guys going up the hill, and they're both carrying a heavy bag with the same weight. And one guy is schwitzing, and he's having a hard time. And the other guy is dancing up the hill. He's carrying his bag and he's running and he's dancing Also, they were both carrying bags with a heavy load. What's the difference? The difference was that the one fellow was carrying rocks, and the other one was carrying diamonds. So if you're going up the hill with rocks, then you're tired. If you're going up the hill with diamonds, then you're not tired at all. So you realize as we need to be optimistic, we need to be positive about our Yiddishkeit, positive about our responsibilities. And then we do it with a gate. Remember Goldie's Zaydel of a Shalom, Moshe Eli Galitsky, always, whenever he was already in his 90s, always dancing his way through Judaism, always smiling and happy to do another mitzvah. I mean, he used to make a bracha, he used to mamish like you could see. Yeah. Even when he was very sick and he had to go he had some problems with his kidneys. So he had to go to do dialysis. It's very painful. He had to go a whole day. But everything was like a mitzvah for him. Everything was upbeat. Everything was positive. So one day I remember he came home, and we asked him how was it. He says it was great. It was excellent. So I asked, wasn't it painful standing a whole day? He says, what? I just got my energy boost. I got my energy boost. He felt so good about the dialysis because he feels good now. He said, this is my energy boost. Everything depends how you look at it. If you look at it as negative, one time someone came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and during the Yechidus, he's speaking to the Rebbe about his children, that he has no nachas from his children. They all went off the path, and they all intermarried, and he's really feeling badly about his children are not continuing his traditions. So and he says, in the middle of the conversation, he says to the Rebbe, Oi, it's schwer zu sein a Yid. It's tough to be a Jew. I mean, it's an old expression that they have, amongst Jews. Schwer zu sein a Yid. The Rebbe asked him, tell me, is that something you say often? He says, oh, I always say it. He says, you ever say that in front of your children? He says, probably, because I always say it. The Rebbe says, that's it. Says, you realize whenever you say it's schwer zu sein a Yid, what do your kids hear from you? They hear how hard it is to be a Jew. You should tell them it's a gliklach zu sein a Yid. We're lucky to be Jews. We're happy that we're Jews. You need to change it around. You need to change around your attitude. You need to be like Avrohom Avinu, like Yashkim Avrohom Baboiker. Avrohom Avinu, even when he was told the ultimate test to bring his child onto the altar, he was popping and jumping. He was upbeat. You'd think that he'd be depressed. Should have been depressed. I would have been depressed, maybe. Yeah. But Avrohom Avinu is a tzaddik. He trusted God implicitly, and he went dancing up the mountain with his son Isaac. They went dancing to do the will of God. Not just dancing up the mountain, but Yashkim Avram Baboike, he woke up earlier. God said, I want you to do it in the morning. So he was waiting to the morning, and then he was going to check out right away. Why? Because to him, doing the will of God is upbeat. It's positive. It's happy. He was a happy guy. It's a good to sein a Yid. He was happy to do whatever he had to do. This is what God wants. He's doing it. So this is the lesson over here. So why do we wake up early in the morning to go to shul? Why? Why? Because we're so excited. We have an audience with God in the synagogue, a meeting, a rendezvous with God in the synagogue. Why wouldn't I wake up early? Go as early as possible to meet Hashem. I know that now we are in the month of Elul, the month before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. So there are many people that come to synagogue like, they wait for the last minute club. They show up on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Tzva right? Kol Nidre. Wait for the last minute club. That's not what Judaism is. Judaism is wake up early. Start the process earlier. If you love it, if it's something good. So if you're thinking of it just as days of awe, days of judgment, then who needs so much judgment and awe? It's negative. But if you look at it as a rendezvous with God, high holidays, it's the high holiday. We get high. It's a happy occasion. It's happy holidays. We call it holidays, right? It's upbeat. It's days of awe because it's serious. It's not sad days. It's awe, awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, not awe as in trepidation, but awe as in awesome. These are the most, kids, they always say that word. I don't know why they use it. It's awesome. It was awesome. Awesome means like it's wow. All right. So if you know that that's what the high holidays are, don't wait for Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. Just go to shul already in the beginning of the month of Elul, which is today. Yesterday started. Yesterday already in synagogues we start blowing the shofar. Why? Because Avrohom Avinu taught us. Wake up early. Start the process early. Don't leave it for the end because this is fun. This is fun, this Judaism. It's enthusiastic. It's a happy occasion. It's an energy boost. Everything is fun. It's all a great experience. So don't leave it for the end. In Chassidus, it says that the month of Elul, because we know in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur we have the rendezvous with God, but in the month of Elul, God is in the field. The king is in the field. In the olden days, many times before the king went to the palace, he would hang out with the simple folk in the field. He would go like the elections, the candidates. They go with the people and they go out and they put on the hard hats and they go dressed with the people, right? They go to the coal factory, coal miners. And they speak to them and they go to the restaurants and they eat the falafel in Israel. For the elections, you taste the falafel bowl with the crowd, with the people. So we say that the month of Elul, which is this month, that's God coming out, chatting with the people. And it says he shows us a smiling countenance. God smiles to us. He comes out and he's so happy to see the people, and he does some backslapping and talking to us. And so this is the month already that we have the rendezvous of God with God at the palace in Rosh Hashanah Kippur. But now we have exposure. We're already close to God. So don't wait for the last moment, for the last minute club. Start getting involved now, because that's what Judaism is about. Avrohom Avinu wakes up early in the morning. And as the Talmud says, that those that wake up early to go to shul have a very, very special blessing. There's a blessing for those that are from the first 10 that show up for the minyan. A very special blessing from Hashem. So please God, by learning from our great grandfather Abraham, following in his footsteps of being ahead of the curve, waking up earlier, being filled with joy and alacrity and zealousness, and be excited about our Yiddishkeit and saying it's good to sein a Yid. It's good to be a Jew. Through that, we will merit the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, and we'll be the first online to meet him, because we're going to wake up early to meet the Mashiach. B'meir of Yameinu, Amen. Anyone have any questions on my thesis today? Or anything?
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead, Helga.
Would the shofar be handy so we could hear it?
Shofar. Yeah, I don't have it right here handy.
Okay. So perhaps next week.
Next week, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe at the end we'll end it off with a shofar blowing.
Thank you.
Okay? Wake you guys up next week. Okay? Stay tuned. Tell your friends to come on so they can hear the shofar.
I have a question, Rabbi.
Sure, go ahead.
So why do the Sephardim start the Slichot from today morning, which we did the morning, and the Ashkenazim and the Hasidim start 1 week before Rosh Hashanah? Any specific reason? Or
Maybe the Ashkenazim are a little lazy. You know, they don't want to wake up. You know what I mean? No, but there are different customs. The different customs. It says you're supposed to the month before or the week before. So the Ashkenazim actually, start the week before Rosh Hashanah, right?
Yes,
and
yeah.
Sephardim start the month before, the whole month before. Yeah. I guess it's different strokes for different folks, customs. There's some psukim that they base it on, but many people that come to me during Pesach, and they say to me, Rabbi, they say, my wife, she's Sephardi, so maybe we can eat rice on Pesach. We can eat kitniot on Pesach. We could have the Coca-Cola with the aspartame. So maybe we can follow the Sephardic traditions on Pesach. My wife is Sephardic, so I tell him, I say, okay, that's fine. You can eat rice on Pesach if you promise me that you're going to say slichot a whole month of Elul.
Oh, that's great.
It's a package deal. You can't take the leniencies of the
You can
Sephardim
choose, yeah.
and leave out the stringencies, right? You have to. It's a package deal. You have to take the whole thing. So
That's
if you want to
correct.
eat rice, you have to wake up for slichot. Yeah, the Sephardim Taka, they start already today. They start already.
Yeah, we started today morning.
Morning, right? Because on Rosh Chodesh, I don't think they start, but they start today in the morning. Beautiful slichot. You listen. Sometimes you could go online and see it from Israel. They have beautiful tunes.
Oh yes, at the Kotel, yes.
The
Yeah,
Kotel,
last year we were there at the Kotel between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It was a very, very surreal, very, very great experience. We went at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was tens and thousands of people.
Yeah. So look, everybody should follow their custom, but we should respect everybody else's custom.
Oh, for sure.
It's important.
Thank you so much.
Very good. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi, to everybody. Thank you, Rabbi.
Take care. Shabbat Shalom.